I got a good deal on the Peking University recommendation place that the real young master didn't want. He was so in love that he ran away with a bad student and dropped out of school, ruining his life. As for me, I was known for taking someone else's place, yet I went on to become a rising star in Thebasina's world. And he even married his childhood friend Willow. An accident happened at the best time of my life. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day I graduated from high school and was filling out my college application. In front of me, rows of colorful bullet remarks appeared. Fake young Master George is a thief hostile to true young Master Makoto's life in the previous life. It seems like the real young master was truly love-stricken, ran away with a rebellious girl who was having problems and dropped out of school to establish a business. He even gave his childhood fiancée to someone else. How stupid and sad. At least there's a chance to try again. This time the real young master has woken up. I want to see how the bogus young master who took someone else's life will fail this time. So I silently read the comments, curving my lips into a smile. Sorry, the road I walk is one that I constructed for me. Even if he were to be reborn 100 times, can never stop me from reaching the peak and marching toward brilliance. Chapter 1. Suddenly reborn. On the day of filling out the college applications, I was only stunned for a moment before I soon calmed down. Turning my head, I saw Makoto's eyes, which were breathtakingly bright. They seemed to glow with the intense thrill of something lost and recovered and the determination of something that was bound to be attained. He gazed at me with an angry glare, and his eyes then raced out the rear door of the classroom, sprinting for the lovely figure at the end of the corridor. Willow from Class 1 of senior year, Makoto's childhood friend who in the prior life was to be my wife. Willow. Makoto's voice was choked with emotion, tightly embracing the slim waist of the girl. His assurance of reclaiming her. I love you, and this time I won't let you go to anyone else. Willow was briefly surprised by this abrupt embrace. Then an incredible sense of excitement overtook her. She clumsily but kindly returned his embrace, rubbing his back in comfort, softly whispering, "Yes, I will always be here." The sunlight outlined the silhouette as pictured the boy and girl in each other's arms, as stunning as a properly crafted young movie poster. At that moment, the bullet comments exploded on the screen, full with unabashed venom and joy. This is right, the real young master should be with his self-reliant, passionately devoted childhood sweetheart. That stupid, lousy student should just stay out of the way. George is nothing but a filthy thief stealing someone else's Peking University position, taking someone else's young master persona, and snatching someone else's women. What a horrible individual. The actual young master has finally woken up, and now he's clearly headed down the road of a true masculine lead. As for the false young master George without his Peking University spot, let's see how he'll succeed in the future. Seeing these self-righteous bullet comments, I smiled. Everything I experienced in my former life replayed in my head with great clarity. After Makoto was taken back to the Wong family, he felt frustrated with the norms of the rich family, yearning for so-called independence and true love. He grew infatuated with that rebellious problem girl Maria. In order to roam the world with her, he tore up his Peking University recommendation letter and openly revealed his cancellation of the engagement with Willow, leading Mr. Wong to suffer a heart attack and turning the entire exclusive circle into a major joke. And I, the phony young master who lost everything when the real young master returned, the one now walking on thin ice, silently picked up the Peking University ticket he discarded like a broken shoe, and also picked up the engagement that he had detested 10 years. I carefully stepped into the university gates, and then fought my way through to carve out a route in the Wong group, establishing my foothold. Every stride I took was drenched in perspiration and methods that no one knew about. By the time I firmly sat in the CEO position, I was no longer the fake who needed to watch others' faces. Reborn again. I also want to observe without the halo of the bogus young master. Without the backdrop of a prominent university, can I travel on the road to success all on my own? The bell announcing the completion of the college application came ringing. The Homeroom teacher wearing a spring breeze-like smile strolled into the classroom, clutching a golden embossed envelope, his smile almost bursting with excitement. The bullet remarks instantly erupted. It reads here: the Peking University recommendation letter. For our Makoto has arrived in the past life. Fake young master started changing his fate by stealing this spot. After that he lived a life of glory. Now that Makoto is awake, let's see how he plans to steal this time. I didn't change my expression seeing the homeroom instructor smile like a budding flower. He cleared his throat and loudly announced, "Congratulations to our classmate Makoto, who has obtained the Peking University recommendation spot for the Department of Physics with good grades, and has been admitted early." A tremendous roar of applause erupted in the class. Countless jealous gazes directed toward Makoto. This time, he didn't deny the recommended position, but instead accepted the recommendation letter from the teacher's hand. "I accept the recommendation, thank you, teacher." After that, Makoto turned his head, and his gaze locked onto mine. His pallid face exhibited no attempt to hide his smugness, along with a sense of contentment that his revenge was going to be achieved. He leaned toward me, speaking in my ear. "Did you think I would refuse this recommendation? I guess you're really disappointed." The bullet comments rolled past swiftly. I'm ready to witness the bogus young master appear like a lost soul. Must be upset now. It's beautiful. The spot is back where it belongs. The bogus young master's dream is destroyed. Makoto did it properly. Next, he'll ditch the trash problem girl and attend to the same university as the female led, taking back everything that belongs to him. This is the actual youthful master script. I didn't say anything. Makoto took a long inhale as though he was about to unleash all the pent-up rage from his rebirth. "George, I'm really sorry. This recommendation was always meant to be mine. The feeling of things returning to its true owner is really amazing. Without the background of Peking University, tell me, what can you potentially achieve in the future?" He peered at my eyes, hoping to see traces of breakdown, despair, or perhaps a hint of fury. But there was nothing. His face froze, visibly dissatisfied. But I genuinely didn't care. The college entrance exam is significant, while getting into a university is undoubtedly a significant step for success in life, but more importantly, it's about the proper decisions at every stage. I walked past him and politely submitted my application. A significant financial university inside the province majoring and finance. My score was just enough to reach the elite class. With my 10 years of experience in the corporate world from my prior life, the alumni network, location, and practical experience offered by this institution era far better appropriate to my current starting point than the aura of a faraway elite school. As soon as the bullet comments saw my application form, they detonated. The thief has no chance now that he lost Makoto's Peking University place. Thus he's going to a lousy school, a key financial university inside the province. Never heard of it. He'll probably just finish up as a minor accountant after college. Turns out he can't handle what he stole without the aid of the Wong family and without the brand of a top university. Let's see how he flounders in life. I tugged at the corner of my mouth, not even bothering to refute the students from the so-called crappy university. In their words, in my prior life, built one of China's most cutting-edge robotics firms and lead the sector for decades. I packed my stuff and prepared to go when the back door of the classroom suddenly burst open. A girl with a high ponytail barged in. The studs on her black leather jacket smacked against the doorframe with a loud clink, and many light gold streaks escaped from her hair tie, bouncing on her cheeks like miniature sunshine, lighting the mole beneath her eye, which seemed to flare with wrath. It was none other than Marioff, true love from Makoto's former existence, the issue girl. Her lashes flapped like a beast provoked, and she stormed immediately to Makoto. "Makoto, what the hell is going on? Yesterday you were holding me saying we should drop out and rule the world, saying these damn schools are beneath us. Today you're accepting a recommendation. Are you playing me?" The class gasped. All eyes went to Makoto. His cheeks suddenly became pale, and the confidence and pride he had previously were replaced with shame and panic from being exposed in front of everyone. He automatically took a step back. "Maria, what are you talking About what am I talking about? Maria laughed through her rage, then kicked the empty desk beside me with all her might. The enormous sound caused the whole class to go silent. She pointed at Makoto, her finger trembling. You liar, you promised you'd be with me, you betrayed me for that pretentious coquette. Willow didn't you? The more she spoke, the angrier she became, and she even raised her foot to kick Makoto. Stop! A sharp scolding rang out quickly. Chapter 2. Willow appeared at the door at some point. With a swift step, she rushed over, unhesitatingly placing herself between Makoto and Mary, using her own body to shield him. Her keen glare focused upon Maria, bearing the kind of stifling air only an intellectual and excellent student might possess. What do you think you're doing? This is a classroom. Willow. Makoto gazed at Willow, standing behind her, reveling in her protection, his eyes full of devotion. Maria, witnessing this, was even more enraged. She pointed at Willow and cursed. You pretentious coquette bitch! Makoto was deceived by you. Get out of my way! As she spoke, she tried to get by Willow to grab Makoto. The scenario grew chaotic. While Willow protected Makoto, she also blocked Maria's path until the teacher came ultimately, bringing this drama to an end. Willow comforted Makoto, her attention accidentally resting on my desk, which had been knocked askew in the turmoil. On the edge of the desk was a tiny drawing I had casually drawn. A basic, although slightly stubborn, little butterfly. Willow's gaze lingered on the butterfly without her realizing it. Her brows furrowed slightly, a trace of bewilderment in her eyes. This butterfly, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Her words was subtle, but clear enough for Makoto, standing right next to her, to hear. He immediately jolted, following her gaze to the butterfly. A rush of terror overtook him in an instant. In his prior life, fight was this fate, who he had never taken seriously, the one who finally snatched everything from him, including Willow. Willow, let's go! Makoto almost shouted, interrupting Willow's focus, yanking her arm firmly as he tried to get her out of there, trying to cut off any chance she could see me. The bullet comments, which had briefly paused in the turmoil, went wild again. Whoa, this bad student problem girl is a furious dog. Makoto run. Willow is exhibiting all girlfriend power, extreme protection for her man. I love it. Wait. Willow just looked at George's desk and stated the butterflies seemed familiar. What's going on here? Did they know each other before? They surely don't know each other. The false young master lost his Peking University slot, so now he's trying to utilize this little technique to captivate Willow. Shameless, always snatching the true young master's woman seduce. What a stupid and boisterous assumption. I expressionlessly lifted my desk that had been kicked askew, removing the butterfly sketch with an eraser. Then, amid the sympathetic, disdainful, or gleeful gazes of everyone, I straightened my back and walked out of the classroom. The road that belongs to George has never required anyone's charity, nor does it need to steal from anyone. The admission notice was settled. The mood at the Wong family was delicate. Makoto became the center of attention, with the aura of Peking University gleaming as the brightest insignia, covering up all his prior rebellious and extreme behavior. Mer and Mrs. Wong wore their most real smiles in months, their eyes filled with proud pleasure as they stared at him. Makoto really brought honor to the Wong family. Mr. Wong patted Makoto's shoulder, his voice loud and proud. Peking University Department of Physics, great. This is how our Wong family's son should be. George. Mrs. Wong stared at me, her tone a mix of remorse and contempt. The Wong family has given you with feudal coal and education for over 10 years. You had enough of resources. How did you end up doing so poorly? I'm not trying to lecture you, but look at your brother, and then look at you. The difference between people is basically just born in them. There's no similarity. Mr. Wong frowned, his tone irritated. Clearly not one of our bloodline. Your head just doesn't work. We thought, even though you were a bit of a bloodline mismatch, we raised you for so many years. We believe you'd at least make us proud and bring us some honor. And what happened? You only scored 600 points, and the school you chose is so terrible. It's a pile of muck that can't be supported up against a wall. Dad, Mom. Makoto neatly placed his arm around Mrs. Wang's. Don't say such about brother. The finance university is good too. After graduation, he can work as a little accountant, live a secure life. It's wonderful for him. The contemptuous tone in his words was like a needle pricking at the skin. The bullet comments went crazy. "Hi, I'm dying." The Wong family parents finally see the true face of the fake young master. Rubbish university. For a rubbish person, perfect. But honestly, the Wong family could have reared a dog for 14 years, and it'd still be better than him. How can this bogus young master so stupid? I calmly listened to these scathing words. I didn't say anything. A score of 600 isn't especially impressive, yet it can't precisely be termed awful either. However, if I'm not the best, if I'm not the so-called male lead in the bullet remarks, then everything becomes useless. Before the admittance letter arrived, I joined up for a national-level youth programming competition, and even found a part-time work at a neighboring milk tea store. I did my best to earn money for tuition and living expenses, while Makoto Nathini was already out. At night, when my parents inquired about my well-being and related numerous anecdotes discussing Peking University with him, I pulled my exhausted body back, swiftly ate some cold food, and dove straight into my room, sitting in front of my computer screen to code and debug my competition project. The bullet remarks never cease their contempt. "Oh, the fake young master is so hardworking. Is he happy being a little accountant faking it by typing on the computer? Does he think he's the reincarnation of Steve Jobs? Please. Experiencing life as a lowly worker. Might as well get used to it. This is probably how his life will be from now on." A few days later, the Wong family organized a large celebratory meal, celebrating Makoto's entrance into Peking University. Almost all the influential business figures in the city and province attended, all congratulating Makoto and Mr. and Mrs. Wong. Wong, Mrs. Wong, congratulations, your son was admitted to a top university. Truly a tiger parent doesn't raise a dog. Young Master Makoto has a bright future ahead. The Wong family will have a successor. And Mrs. Wong were beaming with excitement, and Makoto wore an expensive bespoke suit, was like a prince surrounded by stars, modestly and proudly receiving everyone's compliments. At that moment, a guest curiously inquired, "Mr. Wong, I remember you have another young master, right? Way, isn't he here today?" Mr. Wang's smile wavered slightly, and his tone became deceptively casual. "Oh, you're talking about George. Don't mention him. His grades are poor. He's attending an ordinary university in the province. He's not on the same level as Makoto. For an event like today, he probably believed it wasn't proper to turn there." Mrs. Wong swiftly added, "Yes, after all, he's not really our child. His DNA are different, and so his grades are much lower. He probably felt embarrassed, so he decided not to come." Just as and Mrs. Wong were busy explaining as Makoto was basking in accolades, the mood of the banquet grew warm again. Suddenly there was a ruckus at the door. The butler raised and his voice rose higher. "Sir, Madame, provincial leaders are here. Also, there are admissions officers from numerous prominent colleges." Everyone was startled. Provincial leaders, admissions officers from institutions, they must be here. For young Master Makoto. There is so many recommended students, but only young Master Wong can attract such big shots. Truly impressive. Mr. and Mrs. Wong were both astonished and pleased, hastily fixing their garments. Makoto straightened his back, a smile growing on his face as he prepared to receive this extraordinary honor that was his. A group of individuals in jackets rapidly entered the hall, with a prominent provincial leader at the forefront. Behind them were several others, lovely in manner, each wearing the insignia of a different prominent university representative from practically all the major colleges in the country were here. Wang's voice trembled with enthusiasm as he rapidly rushed to greet them, extending his hands. Director Marco's secretary Mario, distinguished leaders, recognized teachers. Your presence is an amazing honor for us. Director Marco from the Education Bureau grasped Wang's hand with a forceful shake, his speech booming and full with excitement. Wang, congratulations to you. You produced such an exceptional son. Truly a top-tier talent for the country. Mr. Wong was a bit surprised, automatically glancing toward Makoto. Director Marco, you flatter me. My son Makoto's admittance into this university is really exceptional, but he hasn't. Makoto. Director Marco froze for a moment, his tone notably distant. "Oh, your son ready her he got into Peking University's Department of Physics." "Not bad indeed." He calmly nodded and proceeded to avidly survey the throng as if seeking for some buried treasure. The crowd was puzzled, but it was plain to everyone. The big shot wasn't here for Makoto. Makoto, who had been joyful and eager to introduce himself to the leaders, was now absolutely stunned. His face turned pale. At that time, Director Marco's attention instantly fixed onto the corner. His eyes lighted up when he spotted me dressed plainly, just coming off work from the milk tea store. Still in my work clothes, having no time to change. His eyes instantly shone, and his face quickly filled with a warm and eager smile. He pushed through the mob and strode toward me. "Finally found you, George." Chapter 3. Director Marco's voice was full with appreciation and joy. "Congratulations to you. You won first place with a big margin and recently finished Flame Cup National Youth Programming Competition. Your Smart City Dynamic Traffic Optimization Monitoring System project was unanimously recognized by the judges as one of the most inventive and practical works in recent years. You've found a top talent for the country in the field of artificial intelligence applications." The entire dinner hall plunged into a deathly hush. Everyone was bewildered, staring in awe. At this scene, Director Marco tightly grasped my hand and turned to Mr. and Mrs. Wong, who were still paralyzed in shock, then to Makoto, whose face was as white as paper, loudly shouting, "Ms. Wong, your family is truly fortunate. With this national-level first-place honor, George has won the favor of all best institutions in the country. Admissions officers from the leading schools are here today." He pointed to the academics behind him, excitedly watching me. "They all brought fantastic admission offers. George, you can choose whatever university you want today, pick whatever major you like, scholarships, lab resources, everything is up to you." He paused, studying the stunned guests around him, his voice ringing loudly. "This is a true genius. This is the future pillar our country badly needs, George. You've certainly brought enormous respect to your parents and to our province." Boom. Makoto felt as if something exploded in his mind. The feast painstakingly arranged for him, famous aura of Peking University, that he took delight in the pinnacle glory he had just enjoyed at this moment, was completely shattered by this fake in front of him. Someone he had never taken seriously, thus a cold waste who merely deserved to serve milk tea with an honor he didn't even know existed, one that was so massive it could demolish everything. The rebirth script he had diligently constructed, the one he felt was assured when disintegrated totally in this instant, glanced at me with eyes full of contempt and astonishment. His hero aura, the one that belonged to him, was so weak in the face of actual skill and accomplishment, it was utterly powerless. The bullet remarks after a brief moment of shock went wild. "What the heck? What just happened? National level programming competition, first place goose, any top university. Wait, George, isn't he the false young master? Wasn't he from a garbage university?" This storyline twist, I can't stomach it. Director Marco completely overlooked the actual young master. His gaze just on the false young master. Do Wang's parents feel uncomfortable just after declaring that their kid is a pile of mud that can't be propped up against a wall? The regional head personally comes to reverse the situation. Under the unbelieving gazes of the audience, I slowly lifted my head, my gaze calmly going over everyone in the room. I softly withdrew my hand from Director Marco's firm hold, and amid the breathless hush of the crowd, I took a step forward, standing beneath the spotlight. "Thank you, Director Marco, and all the professors, for your kindness." My voice was clear and steady, with no excitement, no bragging, just a quiet detachment, as if everything had already been decided. "It's an honor to receive this award. As for my choice of university," my gaze intentionally or accidentally ironed across Makoto's face, which had completely drained of color. A faint smile curled at the corner of my mouth. "I will give it serious thought." After all, my voice was not loud, but it resonated well through the silent dining hall. My road, George's road, has never needed to rely on picking up what belongs to others. The last few sentences slammed like a hammer, striking Makoto's heart and shattering the last amount of pride he was desperately holding to. Chapter for the Wong family's perfectly planned celebratory luncheon ended abruptly in a way no one had anticipated. In the end, I didn't choose any of the top institutions that had given me preferential admittance. I politely declined Director Markle with the professor's joyful invitations and confidently put my name on the acceptance paper from the Finance Universitätsring in Finance. The university's top-tier program combines with good regional links was more than enough for me to make my mark. The aura of prominent schools was surely dazzling, but I knew better what kind of soil I needed to grow the fastest and become a towering tree. While waiting for the semester to begin, he continued working at the milk tea shop. The bullet comments were still unrelenting. TSK squats the use of winning a national prize. He's still serving tea at a milk tea business. Don't act so high and mighty. If you don't go to a decent school, what's the point of experiencing life? The fake young master is simply that a false you can smell the poverty in his bones. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the last wave of customers left and I grabbed the hefty black rubbish bags, pushing open the back door. As I moved near the inner mouse screen garbage container at the alley's entrance, just as I was about to throw the bags in, I suddenly heard the noises of Ann quarrel coming from deep in the alley. Get away. Maria, how could you drug me? You're shameless. Let me go. It was Makoto. My heart skipped a beat. I carefully moved closer, hiding behind the shadow of the trash container. I observed Maria's long fingers push down hard on Makoto's lips, while the other hand slid down the folds of his school uniform, moving toward his waist. What's the act, Makoto? You think you're so brilliant, top student, you look down on me? Nah. Maria's voice was husky with drink. I battle for you, skip class for you, and you turn around and hug Willow's legs like that. What do you think I am, a doormat? She suddenly leaned in close to Makoto's ear and whispered maliciously, if I don't get an explanation tonight, you'll make sure you realize the consequences of messing with me. Makoto's eyes were full with hopeless fear. Call the police, but it was too late. In a split second, I swiftly pressed the siren sound file on my phone and cranked up the volume to the fullest. Maria froze. Suddenly she looked about frantically, like a scared bird. I used every bit of my strength, dropping my voice to a roar. Police, don't move, Maria cursed beneath her breath, and turned to run, staggering away. I turned off the siren on my phone. Silently, I stepped over to him, crouched down, and helped him put his clothing back on. Makoto shuddered, lifting his head. George, don't think that I'll be grateful to you for this. What happened tonight? Don't you dare tell Mom and Dad, and don't tell Willow. His voice rose, forcefully, loaded with danger. Do you hear me? If you Doyle, make sure you regret it. With that, he roughly pushed me aside and with his feeble body propped uplift in a chaotic and frenzied manner. The next evening, after the milk tea shop's busiest hour, two police officers appeared at the door. Their eyes eventually fell on me. The leading cop brought out his credentials. George, I quietly answered, that's me. We received a complaint. The officer's voice was clear. You're suspected of being involved in a hired assault case. Please come with us to the station to aid in the investigation. At that moment, a folks walked in. Willow had a look of disbelief and disappointment on her face, and tightly clutching his arm was none other than Makoto. Officer. Makoto's voice trembled with weeping. It was him. He was the one who instructed Maria to hurt me yesterday. It happened in the alley behind there. Chapter 5. Willow's voice was restrained with anger. George, I truly didn't expect you to be this kind of person. I didn't. My voice was abnormally calm. Didn't Makoto seem provoked? Are you telling me you don't know Maria? Are you really going to say you didn't instigate her behind my back? Just then the police brought in a handcuffed person. Maria's eyes fell on Makoto's tear-streaked face as if she had reached a decision. She abruptly lifted her hand and pointed at me. Officer, it's him. It's George. He gave me 5,000 yuan and told me to teach Makoto a lesson. He said all we needed to do was scare him a little, make him look bad. I was perplexed. Said it was all him. He told me what to do, Mr. and Mrs. Wong. I didn't know. When they had come, but their faces were filled with disappointment, as if they were meeting the kid they had reared for almost 10 years for the first time. George. Makoto leaned slightly nearer me, speaking just loud enough for only the two of us to hear. George, it's over for you. I truly want to know what the outstanding youth hailed by the provincial officials is going to look like when he's in prison. I didn't panic. I didn't defend myself. I simply lifted my hand and indicated toward the surveillance cameras in the alley. Officer, the truth is there. The smugness on Makoto's face stopped quickly. He followed the direction of my finger, and when he saw the small black half-sphere, his face immediately turned pale. Maria, seeing the surveillance camera, blurted out, "No. No, wait, when did that?" Her words ended abruptly. As she realized what she had just said, she hurriedly covered her lips in horror. The high-definition footage from the camera clearly appeared before everyone's eyes. The footage showed the figures Makoto and Maria. "What the hell is going on? Are you playing with me? You said we'd leave together." At that moment, Makoto lunged forward, almost brushing up against Maria. He lifted his face using a purposely calm voice as he said, "Maria, don't be mad." Then Makoto took the initiative to throw his arms around Maria's neck and kissed her. A few seconds later, Makoto released her, his fingers caressing Maria's face in a suggestive manner. His voice was lower but yet clear enough to be picked up by the microphone. "Destroy George for me, as long as you ruin him. Tonight I'll go with you." No, Makoto in a frenzy lunged at the computer screen, trying to block the footage. "It's fake, it's all fake. George forged it. He framed me. Willow, help me. This is all George is doing. Why would I laugh about my own innocence?" He had desperately clutched Willow's hand, clinging to her like it was his last lifeline. Willow stood there, her countenance going from shock to disbelief, then to a deep sense of being thoroughly duped and exploited. Without hesitating, she forcefully peeled his fingers off her hand, one by one. "Don't touch me." Her voice held a frightening coldness. Mur and Mrs. Wong were utterly scared, their faces drained of color. Their lips twitched, but not a single word came out. The lead officer's face grew ashen, and he barked in a loud tone. "Makoto Maria, you two are under arrest for false accusation, framing, and disturbing judicial order. Come with us to the station." Quickly, Chapter 6. The bullet comments had deteriorated into full anarchy. "I'm about to lose my mind." The real young master staged it all and even initiated the kiss battlefield gone wrong, using the rebellious problem girl as a pawn to frame the fake young master. This move is diabolical. Has Makoto lost his mind? The false young master is brilliant. He is a total chess master. How did we never understand he was a top-level hacker? Truly hidden talent. Willow didn't go immediately. She gazed at me, her eyes full with complexity. "George." She eventually spoke, her voice carrying a sense of fatigue that seemed to have transcended through time. I remember everything now." Her gaze penetrated through me as if she was viewing someone else from a different time and space. "I'm sorry, I was blind and deaf. Died in this life. Give me a chance to let me." "Willow." I quietly interrupted her. "Let the past be in the past. A person who has someone else in their heart, someone who can easily be blinded by tears and falsehoods, whether in this life or the next, is not worth me waste any more time on." Willow's hand froze in midair, and the last bit of color drained from her face. She gave me one final long glance, then turned around and walked out of the milk tea establishment, step by heavy strides, slipping into the lively bustle outside. Makoto's fate was a reflection of his past existence, but this time it was even more tragic and miserable. The charge of false accusation was confirmed, and though the Wong family used tremendous influence and money to keep him from going to jail, corruption of character label was deeply imprinted on him. His university admission was soon withdrawn, and all the halos he had always counted on vanished in an instant. Mur and Mrs. Wong were profoundly disillusioned with their own son. They handed him a quantity of money as if to rid themselves of an unpleasant situation, then unilaterally stated that they had parted relations with him and banished him from the Wong family. Abandoned by his family and disgraced, Makoto in his misery and self-destructs found up turning back to the rebellious Maria. The two of them twisted together once more. They had no education, no skills, and could only strive to exist at the lowest rungs of society. Arguing, and fleeting moments of uncomfortable intimacy were their entire life. As for me, George, I had long left all of this behind. The 4 years of Finance University warm item to gain strength and begin to shine. Solid, professional knowledge along with the sharp business instincts and far-reaching perspective I gained in my former life made me stand out on university. I turned down all the empty spaces in the student union and jumped right into the financial market. Using a small quantity of seed money, I expertly negotiated the stock market's stormy waves, creating a jaw-dropping accumulation of wealth. At the same time, I formed my own team, leveraging Finance University's vast alumni network. And local resource CC managed to bring the Smart City Dynamic Traffic Optimization Monitoring System project, the one that fully took off in my former life, into development and incubation several years ahead of schedule. On the day of my graduation, I didn't wear a graduation gown. Instead, I stood on the platform of the city's highest profile financial technology summit, under the limelight, meeting countless corporate magnates, investment titans, and the media. During a media interview, I was asked what the secret to my success was. I smiled slightly. There's no secret. It's simply that I use the time others spent complaining, clinging to others, or wallowing in the past to walk my own path. The path is long enough, firm enough, and eventually you'll walk into the light. After the interview, we respectfully declined the subsequent invitation to the party and headed alone toward a quiet lounge. At the end of the long corridor, the vast floor-to-ceiling windows, the city's stunning night panorama unfolded. A thin person stood motionless by the window. Her loneliness stood in stark contrast to the busy metropolis outside. It was Willow. She was carrying the current financial magazine F cover, featuring my profile as I spoke under the spotlight. She turned, looking at me, her stare loaded with complexity and asymmetry, and an overpowering sense of loss which gradually subsided into a barely audible sigh. "George," she spoke, her voice sour. I quietly brushed by her, not stopping, not even glancing her direction. The sound of my shine sneakers resonated crisply on the smooth marble floor, growing fainter and fainter. Her figure, along with the magazine, was left behind, engulfed by the shadows of the sparkling world. Beyond, the bullet comments were still rolling. This is the true wonderful masculine lead in a feel-good tale. All throughout this long voyage, George, he never once glanced back. His magnificent life has only just begun.